for British eyes only. Welcome, franchise. This is Citizen D-Train and his partner in crime. Second build on the credits, but one of those credits where it's like side by side, one of them's higher, one of them's lower, but the lower one comes first. I think that's how we've got to be billed.
I like that.
Over there, Henry Papali.
Hey, everybody, what's up? It's 0042. That's right. That's my age. Welcome, everybody, to episode 216. And
I'll be 34 by the next episode.
that was my next sentence.
Yeah.
I'm going to be doing a birthday soon as well. That's right. By the next regular episode, you will have been an older man. That's correct.
That's right. I feel myself aging every day.
Yeah, it only gets worse, my friend. Believe you me.
I hate to even stand now.
Yeah, your back's going to start. It's probably already happening.
It's happening.
Yeah, when I was 30, it started happening like psychosomatically, man. Just everything starts to sort of ache, you know.
Yeah, life is miserable.
It really is. It just gets worse and worse. Yeah. But, on that note...
I guess we'll do a podcast.
If we can get through it.
All right.
If our age doesn't wear us down, you know.
We can do it, man. We got a little bit of an early start today.
We did. If 57-year-old Roger Moore can...
Roger Moore.
He's... You know what? By next week, you're going to have it down. That's not bad. That's better than last week. Then we'll be done, and we'll never do it again.
I got to tell you something. Roger Moore is a horrible actor. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to the estate of Roger Moore, his friends and family, to Bond fans whose favorite Bond is Roger Moore. I don't even think that's a bad opinion. He's a very definitive era of Bond, but he sucks. He's bad, and these movies are bad.
I had some disappointing moments during these movies, and they were not in the way that I thought. And my star ratings for both, as of right now, are fluctuating at the exact same rate.
I'm so solid on both of these, baby.
Yeah,
and I liked one of them definitely more than the other one. And I liked things about both of them, and there were things that fucking drove me up a wall about both of them.
I had a very similar opinion, which we'll be getting to.
You want to start with For Your Eyes Only, which is a cumbersome title. Movies should not start with the word for.
For your consideration.
Don't like that title either.
I don't either. I agree.
They should have called it Award Bros.
You're the title meister. You come up with the cool titles, man, for the shows. You're pretty good at that. People are running out of titles. They should just call you, man.
But you could do anything with these Bond titles. I know that they're coming from the Ian Fleming novel still at this point. But just throw 3 random cool words together and you got something.
Well, you know what I like? I like sometimes in these Bond movies when what they would eventually do and what they've done, I guess, once or twice. I don't remember, but I'll have to think about it. But when they just use, like, the common lexicon of Bond, like License to Kill. Perfect.
I don't like those. I'm down on those.
I'm not. I like that. Just License to Kill. I wouldn't care if they called one of the new Daniel Craig or whoever takes over next. Just call it 007.
Yeah, but then then they're just gonna keep going, and then by the time like Bond 28 comes out, it's just gonna be called Shaken Not Stirred. Henry,
Money Penny.
Solo. They've started develop a Bond cinematic universe. How have they not done that yet? They were going to with that Jinx thing for a while.
Oh, I remember that.
That was in development for years.
That's a great idea. Well, they did Catwoman instead, right?
Around that time, yeah. Pitoff.
Topol.
Ooh, Topol coming up in this movie today. Hey, we've got a new director. That's right. Famed astronaut John Glenn orbited Hollywood for a while and directed For Your Eyes Only.
Yeah, he did. I noticed something in these watching them back to back, which hasn't been easy. I'll admit. It's so funny how jazzed we sort of both
You know
were.
what? That's a real problem, Henry,
It
because these
is.
Roger Moore movies,
Yeah.
I've seen all of these just by like coming across it on cable and shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the way these need to be watched. Like, you catch a random one. It's like, hey, look at this one. They're in Greece. But when you're watching them back to back, it's fucking exhausting. And
It really
and
is.
these
I
Roger
agree.
Moore Bond movies are formula in a way that the Connery ones weren't.
I agree. I agree with you.
And
I,
he's a
I
less proactive secret agent. He's not really doing any detecting. He's just like waiting to be like assassination attempted and then like evading them and then following the bad guys places.
Yeah, well, that started back. I told you. I think I noted when we were doing Live and Let Die.
Yeah,
I felt
all
the whole
it
movie,
totally.
he's running.
You're
He's just
absolutely
running
right.
away from people.
And that it didn't feel tired because it was the first Roger Moore movie for me. But like it's just every movie now.
Yeah, it's watching. You're right. I did not feel the fatigue with Connery, but I think that's a whole host of things. I think that's better plots, some better direction.
Here's another
Sean
real problem.
Connery,
Henry, when was the last really good villain in a Bond movie? These Roger Moore villains suck.
I mean, I think they're like acceptable to bad. I mean, I Scaramanga, I guess, I think was a pretty cool villain.
God, I'll take the
But-
Pierce Brosnan villains over these fuckers.
I mean, yeah.
They're
even-
all just vaguely foreign
Right.
white guys in suits.
Yeah, right.
They all have like one weird weapon they like to use. They all have plans involving starting a new world war with nukes. They all have plans involving starting new civilizations under their own rule.
I think the last great one, honestly, at this point, we're in 1981 now. I mean, to be perfectly honest, the last great one was the first in You Only Live Twice when we got Donald Pleasance.
100% agree. As Blofeld.
And then we got Blofeld in On Her Majesty's Secret Service and in Diamonds Are Forever, but not nearly as cool as Donald Pleasance's role. So really, it's a while.
Connery had Dr. Fucking No.
Yeah.
He had Goldfinger. He had a henchman in that movie, Odd Job, legendary. He had Blofeld, who was good, but with at least two different actors that I can remember. and
he had Robert Shaw in From Russia with Love, at least as a henchman, I know, but
the blonde dude who follows him on the train, that guy rules too.
He's amazing. Quint.
I forgot that
He's
was
great.
Robert Shaw. God damn.
It's fucking Quint, man.
Yeah.
No, you're right.
That's a
It's kind of
huge problem. You need a rogues gallery, and there are plenty of great comic book superheroes that have not taken off the way that some of their contemporaries have because they don't have good enough rogues galleries. Batman and Spider-Man are not the most popular because Batman and Spider-Man are the two best characters ever created. They just both happen to have like 10 good villains. So you can keep making movies out of them.
Yeah. And even like, I guess I'll just go down a rabbit hole. But I was going to say, even if a superhero has one massively cool villain, like Daredevil has Kingpin.
That's just because you want to bring up Daredevil. But that's the problem. That's always been the problem with Daredevil. And that's why the best period of Daredevil is Frank Miller's run in the 80s. Because he only ever had the fucking Kingpin. And then Frank Miller brought in Elektra and Bullseye and whatever, and a bunch of others.
Even Bendis' big run was Kingpin.
Yeah. But like, if you go back and those early issues of like Spider-Man by Stan Lee, it's like every issue, it's like Mysterio, the Green Goblin, Dr. Octopus, the Sandman, back to back to back. And you go back into those Daredevil issues, and it's like, hey, Kingpin, who, by the way, was introduced in an issue of Spider-Man. And then it's like the Owl,
And it's kind of the
Stiltman.
same with Superman. Superman, too. I mean, he's got
He's
Lex,
got
and then he's
Luthor,
got
though.
Brainiac. Yeah, he's got Lex.
And that's
But,
important.
he
No, I know.
doesn't-
After a while, you get up to like Parasite, Metallo.
Mr. Mixelplick.
Hey,
Brainiac.
never talk shit about Mr. Maxapack.
But yeah, no, you'd think that Bond would have had a huge gallery of rogues. And I mean,
And this movie makes a huge show of it because there's that prologue where like they kill off Blofeld really unceremoniously. And I read that was supposed to be the broccoli saying like, "See, motherfuckers, we don't even need Blofeld. We've got mad good villains." And then I'm like, and then after that in this movie, the best you could come up with is sort of like a vaguely villainous Fiddler on the Roof actor?
Yeah, and I read that too, and I found it weird that if that was how they felt because of all of that controversy and copywriting with
Never Say
Thunderball
Never
and-
Again being developed.
right? But ever since Thunderball, the guy who wrote the screenplay, I can't remember his name. They were in a litigation for like fucking 20 years. But it's like, so if that's how you feel, then you're going to give us a guy in the beginning of For Your Eyes Only who isn't Blofeld, but he is, just because you don't say his name. I mean,
No, he's supposed to be Blofeld. I think
of course he is,
I think
but
the
they
point
can't
is
say
they
it.
dispatch of him so easily that they're saying like, "See, Blofeld ain't even shit. You want to be fucking with our villains like Topol."
Yeah.
And
Topol wasn't really the villain, though. I liked him in this.
whatever. All right,
You're thinking of the guy with the goatee with the teenage.
I can't remember any villains.
Yeah.
They're all nothing. For Your Eyes Only comes out directed by John Glenn, who, in all honesty, had been the editor of the franchise for a while. And they brought him in to direct this, and then he ended up directing a bunch of other ones, right? Like a bunch in a row.
He did.
He did both Daltons and the last three Roger Moores.
That's right. So
And then after that, he didn't know what to fucking do. He did Aces, Iron Eagle 3, and Christopher Columbus: The Discovery, Henry.
Well, that was a big movie. That was the lesser of the two that year, right?
Yeah, that was one of those. It was an Armageddon Deep Impact situation with dueling Columbuses.
That's correct. I remember I saw 1492 in
Full
the
title,
theater.
please. It's got a stupid full title, Henry.
Oh, I don't remember. What is
Ridley
it? I don't remember.
Scott's 1492 Conquest of Paradise.
I remember Conquest of Paradise, but he didn't. He put his name.
No.
in front of it?
I just added
No,
that.
all right. Yeah. But
That's a
John
shitty
Glenn-
movie. I've never seen the John Glenn version.
Me neither. But
Yeah.
I don't remember the Gerard Depardieu version very well. But John Glenn definitely. This was glaring in this first movie. I mean, you want to give the stats, or do you want to just?
Oh, yeah.
Into-
Co-written by Richard Maybaum and Michael G. Wilson, different drafts and shit. Came out June 24th, 1981, on a budget of $28 million, slightly less than Moonraker, but not by much. Still big budget for 81. Big box office of $195.3 million. It came in at number 8 at the American box office, Henry.
Wow.
Between Chariots of Fire and a film I have never heard of that somehow came in at number 9 for that year called The Four Seasons.
I've never heard of that either.
I'm looking it up now. It appears to be directed by and starring Alan Alda. Boy, 1981, last few years of MASH. He's still on top of the world, baby. And female lead Carol Burnett.
Okay.
Big movie.
hit.
Nominated
Big.
for 4 Golden Globes, no Oscars.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
What a time. The
What a
80s
wild
was.
time. Okay, Henry. It was nominated for a couple things.
Oh, right. Yes, that it was. Thank you for the. I like the pause there.
Can I hear the GG's theme?
Oh, I had the other one ready.
The
first.
Oscars one? That's fine.
Yes. Okay, here we go. Let's see what we get this week, folks. These guys pay us for these ads.
Someone needs help customizing and saving with Liberty Mutual.
Oh.
Oh, Limu, Emu, da 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 da.
Yeah, I hate them.
I love the Limu Limu, bro. They're gonna fuck someday. Henry, at the Oscars, Sheena Easton was nominated for Best Song, but lost to Arthur's Theme, of course, by Christopher Cross. All right. That was by Christopher Cross, right?
The Arthur theme?
Yeah. Did I just make that up? It's Caught Between the Moon and New York City, right?
Oh, yeah. No, I know the song, but I didn't think it was Christopher Cross, but you could be right.
I could be wrong, though.
But it's not Billy Joel, no.
I may be right. I may be crazy.
Yeah,
All right. Golden Globes?
Oh, yes. The Golden Globes.
This
Sheena
character.
Easton.
It's the GGs, the Golden Globes. It's the Hollywood Foreign Press, mostly French.
All right, wherever you were holding that at the last second of that song, that's where I want your mouth to be. That was loud.
So you need me to...
Oh, that sounds good.
Oh, come on, man. I'm like chewing this thing.
All right, you don't have to. Step back.
Well, no, I mean, we've had a lot of...
Just talk into it more. You're like talking into the top of it. Talk into the center of that mic.
Let me put it up like
That's
that.
good.
That's good?
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
A little more engineering. Thank you very much. Thank you. You're the producer, remember?
All right, it lost to Arthur's Theme at the Golden Globes, too. I just wanted to mention we don't have a theme for it or anything. We don't usually talk about these awards, but I thought it was weirdly notable that this movie was nominated for the Writers Guild Award for Best Adapted Comedy Screenplay.
Best Adapted Comedy Screenplay?
Yeah.
It's insulting. Wow.
Well, I mean, it's true. It lost to a movie called Rich and Famous, which appears to star Jacqueline Bisset and Candice Bergen.
So, I mean, that must have been pretty disappointing to all involved in this picture to be considered a comedy.
I mean, it is a comedy.
Well, to us now.
It
but back
all.
then,
I mean, how could it's a joke? This movie.
Oh, I think that Octopussy would have qualified more for that.
They
particular
all are.
moniker.
It's so funny. I was reading like opinions about this movie, and everyone was like, "It's like the most down to earth." More Bond film. This is like his Casino Royale or whatever. And it's like, it's terrible. It's ridiculous.
The funny thing is, this was one of those movies my whole life. I didn't have a great affection for it all, but I always kind of thought, given Roger Moore's Bond run, that this was like probably... I don't like Live and Let Die, so probably like the second best one. And yeah, it's not. I really had a change of opinion on this movie. I fully expected coming into this one being like, you know what, this is a solid entry. There's nothing great about it, but it's totally solid.
Nothing too goofy. We're just telling good, down-to-earth Bond stories.
Yeah,
nope. He learns a crucial clue from a parrot.
Yeah, that was great. That was actually probably one of the more entertaining moments of the movie.
All right.
You know what a big problem with this movie is, right as we get started into the plot? For me,
tell me.
Boy, this pacing is poor. My God.
Well, I do think that might...
slow as hell.
I think that's John Glenn, man. He seems way less confident with the action sequences, and he doesn't know how to stage conversation. It's just sort of like boring, like stagey. I don't...
And I think I noticed that despite whatever you think of Octopussy, I thought it flowed better.
I agree.
Yeah, it was more entertaining, and I just didn't expect that. I'm not saying it was good, but it's more entertaining.
I think I still think this is a better movie.
This is a better movie, but it is a slog compared to Octopussy. Like
they both are, dude. Why are these movies getting longer? They have less story, and they're expanding.
Octopussy is like 3 or 4 minutes longer than this one. I
Yeah,
believe.
yeah.
Yeah.
You can take
But
those 3 or 4 minutes and shove them up your fucking ass.
take him on a few tentacles and throw him back in the ocean.
Yeah, bro, tentacles.
Anyway, yeah, the thing I was going to say earlier was with John Glenn, the whole pacing thing, he gets better at that. And that's the weird part. Like when you watch, well, we're not going to be doing it. I don't know when we'll get to it, but the two Dalton movies, say what you will about them, but they are not paced like this. The action is much better. I mean, I don't know if that has to do with who's in the movie and if they had more push to
Well, I think it probably has a lot to do with what's popular in the world at the time, because these Bond movies are such goddamn followers with no minds of their own.
the movies themselves.
I mean, the producers, the Broccolis. I was even thinking, like, they still do it, dude. Like, I love Casino Royale, but all that fucking parkour in that movie, it screams 2006.
Sure does, but it's incredible. Doesn't matter.
I agree.
Oh, you're right. They go with what's popular at the time. It goes all the way back to Thunder or whatever the one Thunderball, right? With the fucking stupid one-man helicopter. Everything they think is going to be big or it was invented by one dude, and, and then Star Wars, so they do Moonraker, and Jaws, so they do Spy.
Blaxploitation, so they do Live and Let Die.
Kung Fu,
so they do Yeah.
Yeah, no.
I hate
right.
these motherfuckers.
But the thing with Casino Royale and parkour is that you can also just kind of watch that movie and not even really think about that parkour.
Henry, you can do that with any of these, but if you look at it in any sort of context, that's going to scream out at you.
I never really thought of the parkour, though, after like the first viewing of Casino Royale. I never went back when I watched it and was like, oh yeah, that parkour shit that was big back then. I don't know.
I think about it because roughly the first 20 minutes of the movie is James Bond performing parkour tricks.
So incredible. And you know it.
I agree, it fucking rules, but that's what it is.
I know. You're right. Parkour.
Hardcore parkour. Yeah. All right, let's start with this prologue. It must be discussed because it connects to nothing in the rest of the movie. It has a totally different tone. It is lighter and goofier and sort of weird. All right, so it starts off very strangely, but of course appealingly to me.
I knew it would.
With James Bond at his wife's grave. Teresa Bond, 1943 to 1969. I love that she's buried with the name Teresa Bond. They were married for like 1 day, and she was 26 years old.
Yeah, and no offense to Diana Rigg, but I think she was older than 26.
Also, no offense to Roger Moore, but this was supposed to be like 8 years ago, and you look 80. Roger Moore is melting before our very eyes, movie after movie here. I mean, how? I don't understand why people were going crazy about Sean Connery being too old for Never Say Never Again. I think Roger Moore looks older than him.
Very funny you said that, because I've always wondered that when people, because Connery was 53 probably when they were filming, he was probably 52. Roger Moore is 3 years older than Sean Connery, and he looks it. And the other thing is his build does not suit aging as an action star at all. Like,
no, he's hunching. He's got a fucking turkey neck at this point. He's got the fakest tan you've ever seen in your life. He has a Trump tan in these movies.
He does. I mean, like Connery, fucking all the way up until like the Untouchables and past that, really.
I never thought he looked old until Medicine Man.
Yeah, right. He still looked damn good, man. I mean, it doesn't even matter. He's 57 in the Untouchables, and Roger Moore is 58 in A View to a Kill, and one is believable and one is not.
All right.
Genetics.
Also, by the way, on her tombstone, did you see that it said, "We have all the time in the world"?
Yeah.
Referencing the best James Bond movie.
Oh, okay.
Okay, then you get a shot of a guy from over his shoulder. It looks like Dr. Claw from Inspector Gadget. And he has a cat on his lap, a cute little white cat. And I'm like, uh-oh, Blofeld's back. And then he just kills him.
Yeah, he takes him on a helicopter ride with really narration, a voiceover of Blofeld that sounded to me uncannily like Triumph the Insult Comic Dog. I could not stop thinking about Triumph the entire time. He sounds exactly like him.
Did you see Triumph virtually roasting the people at a pool party in Florida?
No, but I will now.
It's on his YouTube channel. Check it out.
I am a huge fan of Triumph.
It's great. It's only like 3.5 minutes, but he like owns them. It's so good.
He owns everybody. He's an amazing person. Is what he is.
Dog. Insult comic dog.
Yeah, he is. But I like referring to him as a person.
Okay. Hope you had a pleasant fright. That's the first line I wrote down.
Bad. You know, the sad part is, like, I gotta say, I feel like that could have been a cool opening. We haven't seen Blofeld for 10 years in any incarnation. It's the first time we're going to see him with Roger Moore. We're referencing his wife. I mean,
you can't do it though.
Cool.
No, then it's got to be the whole movie, because if you bring back an important villain and kill him in the opening act, then it's like Halloween Resurrection.
Yes, but I mean, even the opening could have been better.
Of course. It could have been so
better.
much better. It looks shoddy, like everything's built from cardboard. It's garbage.
Yeah, it's really sad. And I just...
Why before Bond kills Blofeld does he say, "I'll buy you a delicatessen"?
Oh, yeah, I remember that. No reason whatsoever.
That was incomprehensible.
Has no context or meaning whatsoever. I remember that. Nothing.
It's got to mean something.
It means nothing.
I felt like I was losing my mind.
I will buy you a delicatessen. Nothing. Not as nothing there. Very strange. He could have said, like, I will buy you indoor plumbing.
All right. The next scene, we see two 90-year-olds flirting at a bingo tournament. Oh, wait, no. We see Bond checking in with Moneypenny. And he goes into the office there. M is there. Oh, no, he's not, right? This is the movie Bernard Lee died.
Yeah, that sucked.
Yeah.
I didn't like not seeing him, but the not really replacement, they were cool about that. He's just the minister from the prior movies. He's great too. He's really good.
Yeah, I thought he was fine.
Yeah, he's good.
Okay, so then what happens? He gets his mission. What's the mission, Henry?
Yeah, essentially.
There is some submarine situation.
Of course. Yeah. There's just basically like this oh God, what do they call it? An ATAC. This system that they can use to the stolen from the British Navy.
This MacGuffin, that MacGuffin's MacGuffin.
Red herring, MacGuffin, red herring goes to red herring, then transfers into MacGuffin and comes out of the phone booth as a red herring.
Wow.
Yeah, it's cool. So basically, the Russians and the British are basically need this back. It's been stolen, this ATAC communicator, which I loved because at the end, when they destroy it, I realized that I'm literally staring at what looks like a fucking speak and spell, and that's what this whole thing was about.
It really is such a trash prop.
Oh my God.
It looks like it wasn't even built. It was like they forgot to do something, and then they just like took a piece of refuse from a dump and put it at the center of this film.
They grabbed an adding machine from the Bat Cave from Adam West. That's what it looks like.
Everything in these movies looks Adam Westy to me.
So bizarre. They really are Adam Westy. And it was really weird. Now it's like this piece of shit was going to control the nuclear codes of submarine. Come on. But yeah, I don't know. It's like a transmitter of some sort, and basically Bond's mission is to get the contact to find out who took it, so which takes him to where first? Takes him to
Pool party?
Yeah, well, right. At first. The chronology in these things always screws me up. Yeah, the pool party's first, where we meet a very villainous, blonde-haired, bespectacled man named Locke, who doesn't speak.
Right.
That's our odd job. He lives up to it. He's great.
He is?
No. No. Oh, wait. Before that, Carol Bouquet, the Bond girl.
Melina?
Melina's parents get killed, and pretty violently, with a flyby shooting. Flyby fruiting. I was waiting for you to say.
Oh, good one.
And then
what was her story?
Her dad was the one who was trying to prevent this device from getting into the wrong hands, and before he could say anything about it, he was gunned down by what the fuck is the villain's name? I keep thinking of Topol, but he's not the villain.
It doesn't matter. Nothing matters. Anyway, I liked her. I thought Carol Bouquet was a pretty good female lead for this movie.
I agree. She gets in this. Well, we've talked about how stupid it gets, but with this Bond fanatics, like they think she's terrible. And
Bond girl, because these fucking Bond nerds, they're all like, she doesn't have anything iconic, like when she comes out of the water and her tits are dripping wet. These fucking gross perverts. It's like they give finally Roger Moore gets a female lead with a goddamn brain in her head, and then these fans can't take it.
Yeah, maybe she held out too long for them. She held out too long. That's what it was. She
You're
didn't have
right.
sex
You're
with
right.
them right away.
I know.
This is not cool. This is just not cool. She is supposed to sleep with him in the first 3 minutes. It's Bond protocol. 3 minutes, you go to sleep. They have sexual whatever that happens.
You're
under the covers.
preventing me from vicariously living through James Bond's wiener.
Yeah, Carol Bouquet is totally fine.
She's good.
She's beautiful, and she's kind of a badass. She's like one of the second Bond girl we've had who's got like a revenge fantasy going on. I mean,
yeah, it's a little bit of a retread of what we just did in Spy Who Loved Me.
yeah, but I don't care, man. It's all right, and so she kind of saves Bond's life because he goes to check out this thing at this pool to see if he can find Locke or whoever.
Yeah, he's just spying on a pool party with like binoculars.
Right, lots of breasts. He finds the Cuban man.
There actually are a lot of breasts. Like, there are bare breasts in this movie. You just see them from so far away that I guess they got away with it.
Yeah, and is it this one or Octopussy where you actually... I think it's this one.
Also, the word pussy is in the title of the next one.
It is. We should mention that.
It just flat out is, right there. Pussy.
Octopussy. Which I never wanted to hear Louis Jourdan say, and I knew it was coming.
The one after that, they just should have called Cocksmith.
Cocksmith. Wolf Dick.
Why not?
Octopussy, just shark balls.
I enjoyed that one. All right, Henry. What happens next?
So he gets killed. She saves him. Carol Bouquet saves Roger Moore because he's about to get killed, of course, because he's always about to get killed. And she crossbows this dude right in the back off the diving board. That was kind of cool. So she kills her parents' assassin, but of course hasn't gotten to the bottom line, the plot, the true people in charge. And they get on another kind of car chase that goes on through the streets of, I believe, Greece at this point. We come back to Greece at some point.
Car chases.
Goes on a long time. They're in a little, like, buggy because his Lotus gets destroyed, which was funny, too. Cause
That Lotus, there had to be some sort of a product deal in place because he says the name of that car 100 times.
Well, you know, I don't know if you read this, you probably did, but I thought it was funny too. You know, sometimes you wonder, like, what planet a lot of times a lot of the producers are on. Like they said, we didn't want him to have all the gadgets. Like Dan had said earlier, we wanted him to get down to earth, more grittier, less gadgets. So we did away with the Lotus and wanted that to be like a statement on that he doesn't have to rely on the card. It's like, yeah, but that wasn't a statement. His car got blown up. That's all. I didn't look at it and go, "Oh, good, they did away with the car."
The only way that you see that as a statement is if it's part of a larger statement where it's like, "Oh, wow, he's like killing people in this, and he's gritty, and he's angry, and there are stakes." There are never any stakes in these movies, but no.
Yeah, so they blow up the Lotus and they get in a funny car chase, funny quote unquote, through the streets of Greece. You know, it has its moments. This movie's just kind of like a series of dragging parts with like a few minutes of entertainment and
all
then
right.
just more drag.
I want to talk about the scene where Bond goes back into MI6 to use the identigram to try and nail down what our villain looks like.
Yes, otherwise known as a police sketch.
But it's so funny, dude, because it's on a computer and it's like Bond's giving like demands to this computer guy.
They're cute.
And he's entering them. Oh yeah, it is Q. He's entering them into the system, and then like every demand just makes him look more and more exactly like the actor that plays. So it's like Bond's like slightly rounder face, you know, thicker eyebrows, and then it's like, oh, yep, that's him. That's the actor. Yeah.
The Q. Rounder lips. Perfect match. Octagonal glasses.
Oh yeah, octagonal glasses.
Octagonal glasses. Hold on, 007. Hold on, 00. Yeah, it's a police sketch. It was funny because when it started, I hadn't seen this movie in so long, and when he went in there, I actually thought, I was like, are they going to do like a Mission Impossible thing? Is he going to try to like make a mask out of the guy's face so he can be him? Because that's what it looks like. They go into this secret chamber to like divide.
Oh yeah,
this
it looks like a
3D
face-off
thing.
system.
Yeah, and it's not that at all. It's just like a computer that then doesn't even do a printout of the guy. It just locates who he is. I was like, oh, all right.
Yeah, they just like they run it through the files.
They could have done that in Moneypenny's foyer.
Moneypenny, I promise you, doesn't know how to use computers. Her grandson's going to teach her how to use one to watch Matlock.
Her illegitimate grandson by Bond.
No, they've never fucked. All right, so is this when he goes to the Winter Olympics?
I believe so.
Okay, because this is my favorite section of the movie. By far, featuring my MVP, BB, Queen BB.
I can't abide. Look. All right, here we go, folks. If you've never seen the movie, there's an actress in this movie who's I checked because I was way too curious. She's 23 years old at the time of filming. She looks 16.
Hell yeah.
I cannot abide it. This has always been the weirdest part of this movie for me. Even since I was like a
Wait, you mean Bond flirting with her you don't like?
Well, it's just so bizarre. I mean, you know, at least he does kind of the right thing.
Yeah, he doesn't fuck her.
No, but it's just such an odd, you know, there are comic touches sometimes in these things that we both have found absurd and we've disagreed on them sometimes. This one is just like so bizarre.
I thought this was genius.
Really?
Yeah, he goes to the Winter Olympics, dude.
Yeah, go.
and his contact has this. He's like a coach, I guess.
Her coach is a woman. He seems like the sponsor.
Oh, the
He's
sponsor. Yeah, right. I forgot about the coach character too.
His name is, by the way, is Columbo. That's the villain. He's the villain.
That's Topol.
No.
Columbo's not Topol?
Yeah, maybe you're right.
I think I'm right, dude.
Yeah, you are. Christatos. It's Christatos is the villain. He's the.
What are you talking about? It's me. I'm the villain of this movie.
Is that Columbo?
It's me, Columbo, the villain of this movie.
Let me try to do a little bit better impression of that. If he was over there, and the candle was
You
over
just sound like Mo, the bartender from The Simpsons.
Well, it's.
It kind of is the same.
You're a 16-year-old girl over there on skis. You're Christatos. You're the villain.
All right.
You're James Bond.
Come on, I gotta get into this. BB. So, I gotta get into this, BB. I gotta get into her. She is an incredible character. She is an ice skater in the Olympics, and she is a virgin. Well, they think she's a virgin. They think she's, but she acts very virginal, like this innocent princess, ice princess.
I know.
Okay? But then when her coach and her sponsor aren't around, watch out, gang. She wants Bond's dick in her mouth. She attacks this motherfucker. She does look like a child. It's crazy. He manages to like avoid her advances, but she still goes for it, and she's all like, people think I'm a virgin, but I fuck fucking constantly. My pussy's just raw all the time. She's ratchet.
And we always joke how like they jump into bed with them, but she literally jumps into bed.
Yeah, like a child would.
Yeah, naked, and throws her like robe or towel at him, and it's like, all right, I'm ready.
Whip it out.
And you know, I think this goes to something else about Roger Moore's James Bond.
Oh
character.
yes, what do you have to say about me?
I'd have to say that he might be one of those guys who needs to call the shots. He's taken aback by this.
You
He
know
does not
me.
like to be
you
told
know
what
me,
to
sure.
do. When it's his, what was that? What was that, Roger?
Sure.
Yeah. You like to be in control. You don't want a woman to tell you it's time to go to bed. You like to give her a double entendre before you give her the double dip. Am I right?
That's right. I say something like, get on your knee pads and suck my dick. A double entendre like that.
I was good at the very beginning, and then you sped up. You can't speed up. You got to Roger Moore. It's like syrup.
I talk like molasses.
Yes. Just think about how I look, and it will translate to how I talk.
All right, so the little ice skater, she then
The LVP.
she's the MVP. She decides that like Bond's gonna be her best friend now if he doesn't want to fuck her. So she's like, "Don't even worry about it. I'm fucking the East German biathlete." And
biathlete.
Yeah.
I think it's triathlete or decathlete.
No, it's a biathlon.
I think. Is it? I mean, I'm no sports nerd, but maybe I am. But biathlon?
Yeah, it's a
Sounds kinda
biathlon.
sexual. He skis, he shoots guns, he cross-country skis.
Yeah, that's a biathlon.
I've never heard of a biathlon.
I think that's what it is.
You could be. Maybe you're right. I've never heard of a biathlon.
Yeah, it involves guns. That's always a weird one.
It's very strange. That's why I thought it was part of the you had to do like a whole bunch of. Anyway, whatever. He gives her a nasty look that is completely out of context.
Yeah, so Bond's like, that guy must be a bad guy because of that nasty look. So that's literally the plot point. And so then he like follows that dude around, and that guy's on skis. So this involves Bond strapping on some skis again. I'll tell you what, no one spends more time skiing and underwater than James Bond.
He must have the bends by now.
It's fucking insane.
Or he's bow-legged.
Can we please put him in like a sand, like on a beach somewhere?
Well, he does get to a beach in
He's
this
always in
movie.
snowy climates.
Yeah, he does get to a beach in this movie. His countess gets run over by a dune buggy.
Oh yeah,
Remember that?
yeah.
He seems a little upset about that.
For
too.
like a second, so then the girl BB says, "Bond, meet me before you leave town," and
Right,
Bond's
say-
like, "I'll fucking think about it." And but then he shows, and she's like psyched. She like immediately just like latches her mouth to his dick, and like he pushes her away, and then like someone tries to assassinate him because that's just always what happens in these movies, right?
Yeah. He there's a long chase through this forest in the snow, and I didn't actually. Think
Oh,
that
that's
was-
right. He skied on the bobsled course.
He
I was
skis on the
excited by that.
He skis on the bobsled course. He does a ski jump.
It was pretty baller, actually. This chase,
Yeah.
it's kind of wacky
It's
in a
better.
fun way.
It's better than pretty much every other chase in this movie. I mean, well, no, it is by far. I mean, because it's not badly directed. It's just a weird movie. It's almost like Glenn is getting like certain things. He is like, oh yeah, ski chase, I can handle that. Then they give him a car, and he's like,
Or even just like the next scene was kind of a cool idea, and then he shot it in such a lumbering, weird way, where that hockey team attacks Bond.
that was bad, because that could have been cool. but
Yeah.
it was like, they did it. In
They're
like
all
a,
wearing pads, and the Bond uses a Zamboni at one point and runs over them, and every time he throws one in a net, like the buzzer goes off.
Oh God, when that happened, I'm not gonna lie. When that happened, I actually looked away from the screen. Like I just kind of turned my head. I was just like, oh God, no. Yeah, the buzzer goes off. I mean, I don't know, man. I just did not remember this movie being so fucking goofy. I gave 3 fucking stars to Moonraker.
Yeah, that was stupid, but I mean, I do think
My
that
rating of the movie.
both. This is a 3-star movie. I think I'm gonna give this 3 stars.
Yeah, I am too. But while I was watching it, I'm giving it 3 stars because I know that it is a 3-star movie, and I've always thought it was a 3-star movie. But this viewing, it's the in perpetuum mobile of watching these all in a row, where this was like a 2 because of that. Like it was just like, it just goes on, and then we get that sequence at the end, which I recall as being this exhilarating thing, which
The mountain climbing thing.
Yeah, it's totally
Yeah,
not.
it's not great.
No, and I remember it not even as a kid, like in my 20s. I thought this was like, oh, I remember that scene in 3 Hours Only. That's the cool part of the movie. The mountain climbing. Nah, that's not really. And maybe that's a little bit of being jaded from seeing, the cruiser on Mission Impossible 2, and we've had so many mountain climbing sequences in movies since then that are really spectacular.
Cliffhanger, baby. Ace Ventura: When Nature Calls.
That's a great one for
Mhm.
sure. But
How about Vertical Limit?
I saw Vertical Limit. I saw that.
Sure.
Follow me on Letterboxd, Thank Beast, X-Men fan account. But yeah, by the way, I've been meaning to say to you a while, a little non sequitur. I'll just take a second. Your review of The King's Speech was the best review of that movie I've ever read.
Oh, what did I write? It was.
I love that movie. You hate it, but your review, I gave it a like. You wrote, didn't care.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Thanks.
Woo! That was good.
Boy, yeah, that movie. I tried it again.
I'm happy you did.
Yeah.
I'm a fan.
Jeffrey Rush is really good. He deserved the accolades for that movie.
He's great.
Yeah.
He's great. You're not a big. Do you like Colin Firth in general?
I like him in some stuff. I kind of think he was a little too mannered in that fucking movie.
Yeah. He's good in Bridget Jones.
He's good in Kingsman.
He is good in Kingsman. Yeah. All right.
I'm a Philistine. Okay. I like the end when BB's like, all alone with no one to fuck. And then Bond basically sells her into sex slavery to Topol.
Correct.
That
Yeah, he's
happens.
Like, it's like looks like Columbo's found. No, looks like BB's found a new sponsor.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
like they cut to her like sitting on his lap or whatever.
Yeah, Columbo winks at Bond.
It's just a sugar
That's
daddy
right.
thing. A new sponsor. Come on.
It's like, yeah, he winks at Bond like, that's right. She's only 54 years younger than me. I've got it taken care of. The one actually,
I'm gonna take her from sunrise to sunset.
This is going to be my big fat Greek wedding.
Oh boy. All right.
I think that honestly, I think one of the best scenes in the movie. I really liked the scene between when Bond first meets Columbo, when he meets Topol, and they just have that like mano a mano on Topol's like boat. I like that. You remember that when he's like gives him a drink and they're like talking about it, and Topol's like, "You got me all wrong. I'm not."
Yeah,
I'm
I
not the
remember
bad
that
guy."
scene, and I could
like
tell I was supposed to like it, and I just didn't.
Yeah, I did because first of all, Topol, besides only seeing snippets of Fiddler on the Roof,
I've never really liked Topol and stuff.
I like him in this. I think he's good. He's the MVP for me.
Oh well,
He's got charisma. He's got a presence. I like his kind of good guy aspects in this. You know, the villain Christatos is just kind of blah, but you know,
everyone's
I don't know.
blah. To me, the saving grace of this movie is the women. I think of the male characters that aren't established before this movie, there is not a compelling character among them.
Well,
I think Melina and BB are the fucking saviors of this thing.
BB's, come on.
I'm
man.
telling you, BB's my MVP.
It's so bad. I mean, I don't know what they're doing. You know, I don't know. The East German guy was bad too because he's like a poor man's Alexander Goodenough.
A lot of the henchmen at this point just seem like failed pro wrestlers.
Yeah, they really do. I mean, they really aren't very good. It's just, I don't know. It's just very weird. It's a strange world that Roger Moore was in for these movies. You know, it feels like they went from like, even though I don't like the movie, really trying like weird new shit with like Live and Let Die and Man with the Golden Gun with like Hervé Villachez and Christopher Lee and Yaphet Kotto, to then just kind of basically going through like a casting call of people who are famous in other countries.
It's
Just
like they're not even trying. They're just
No, they're
looking for someone who seems vaguely continental. And
yeah, it's continental, yeah.
it sucks. Anyway, yeah, it's a 3 for me still. Like, this is a pretty watchable movie. Like that, some of the action sequences are cool. That bobsled shit, the shootout on the beach, the women. It's an all right movie. It's kind of fun.
I just think if it was edited better.
Yeah, the problem with
better.
this movie is it had potential, and they didn't fulfill it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm actually surprised you're giving it a 3 because, I mean, that's what you gave Spy Who Loved Me.
I thought this was as good as A Spy Who Loved Me.
Really? Yes.
Yeah.
I think they're miles apart. I mean, like I said, I was a absolute borderline 2. But, you know I'd regret that because I don't really think it's that bad. I was just bored.
Your LVPs, you know what I think we'll do? Let's just split MVP and LVP.
Okay.
So, like, my MVP will be BB and yours will be Topol, and then my LVP will be Topol and yours could be BB.
Sounds good.
Great. Okay.
Totally your LVP. Your LVP would certainly be Christatos.
Yeah, it is. It's total. It's just the villains in general. H-Dog, what's the superhero count?
Oh, all right, everybody. So here's a little bit of news here. Everybody. Last week we were talking about it. I don't even remember the context of why we brought this up on the show last week, but I guess we had some just silly ones, and so we asked the audience. We were kind of joking, like, well, what do you guys think about superhero count? You think people would care? So I heard, not from many. I only heard from 3 people. Not a big crowd. Because I know emails are a big effort to write. But anyway, no, I'd been toying with this for a while. I think that sometimes these things do go on for a long, long time, and they can be a chore to make, but not just to make. There's just some ones that are very insignificant. So I'm trying to compromise. I'm going to just summarize really quick because we're in the middle of an episode, obviously. I heard from a patron overseas who I don't think we've ever heard from. This guy's really, really nice, really cool guy named Paul Griffin. He's from
he's on Letterboxd. He follows.
That's
us.
right.
Yeah.
I think he has his own show. But yeah. He was writing me about something else that maybe I'll read later because that was a nice email. But he rewrote me just writing to say you cannot stop doing the superhero count. It's one of the best parts of the show. Keep being awesome.
And then Space Cadet Juan writes us in response to the Order Up we did for him, and he says that it's like insufferable. It grinds the show to a halt, sort of like it's doing right now. And
so I took that into consideration. But you know what? Logan B. Adair kind of said exactly what I was thinking, which was this. And I'm just going to read his. It's a short email. Not every movie is an American Hustle. I think if it feels like a chore for you to do it, then don't do it. Sometimes there's good stuff in there, but it may not be worth sifting through the filmographies. I, for one, won't be upset if you want to drop it. So I came to my own decision, and what I'm going to do is basically just temporarily suspend it for a little bit. You know, not as extreme as we're doing our top 10 list, which we basically stopped altogether. But I'm just going to take a little break, folks. And then when I do reconvene it, I'm not going to go through 35 actors. I'm just going to kind of do the main players. So I hope that's not too disappointing to the people who really love it. If it is, write me. I'm sure that I'll just do it for the main characters right back into it right away. But I just guess it's time for like something new. Something new. We like to try out things here, little spice it up. So that's what's going on with that. But what I do have, Daniel, is I do have.
Wait, what did you say my name?
Yes. Yeah. Dan went into the other room, took a piss, got a seltzer, went outside, took a walk, and
Do
then
you still need me for this?
No, I could handle the rest of it. I guess I'm good.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Would you like to talk about Buffy for like 10 minutes?
The thing about season 6 is, yes, it was dark, but they had something to say about addiction. Okay.
Here we go. We do have this though.
James Bond, shall we do a shag count?
I think we shall.
So there are two. A low shag count for Bond.
Melina and the Contessa.
That's right. The barefoot Contessa. He gets her, and she's the one where I did a double take. You see her breast.
I wrote it down. Bare breast.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. I think it's a mistake, but
no, but
there.
you never see her nipple, dude. I was watching. And it's masterful. I honestly think it was a mistake and they left in the take just because it was such an incredible accident. Where you see every inch of this fucking breast and then a tiny little millimeter of nipple is cut off by some kind of a fabric, and it's like a painting. It's like a Renaissance masterpiece.
It's an accidental masterpiece. An accidental shot. Where Glenn was probably like, should we take this out? Nah, leave it in, mate. Nobody will notice.
Everyone will notice.
Right. Well, the other guys.
He fucks her to some real smooth jazz, baby.
Oh, the music in this is pretty bad.
I gotta say, I think this might be John Barry's worst score.
It's real bad. And that's funny because when I was watching Octopussy, the score in that is by John Barry. We're not talking, by the way, we should emphasize about the title songs. We're talking about the score throughout the movie. Octopussy, I found the score to be much better placed and like using the old Bond themes and like way more exciting. This one is just like a drip.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's got that 80s disco.
It's so much synthesizer, dude. It sucks. And the song in this one was pretty boring too.
Yeah, I always thought I liked it.
You know that Blondie wrote a song for this movie.
I read that.
And they didn't use it. It's on a Blondie record.
It's on a Blondie record?
Yeah.
I'm trying to see if in my notes here I have my Bond song ranking. I was curious where we put that
I don't
on our
remember.
free
Can we talk about
price zone.
Octopussy?
Octopussy.
All right, listen. Let's talk about pussy. This is some real locker room talk for the next part of the show.
Octo vagina.
Is that what they should have called it?
Oh, actually, octopuses don't have vaginas.
Excuse me. What's the plural of octopus, Henry?
Octopi.
Thank you. Okay. It's directed by John Glenn. It's written by a bunch of British writers. George MacDonald Fraser, Richard Maybaum, and Michael G. Wilson, not in collaboration, just cobbling together bullshit. It was released June 6th, 1983, just about 2 years later. A budget of $27.5 million, big box office of $187.5 million. Came in at number 6 at the American box office, Henry, between War Games, John Badham's War Games, and the great fourth Dirty Harry film, Sudden Impact.
Wow.
Mhm.
Yeah. And number 1 would have had to be Return of the Jedi, right?
I would assume.
Yeah. I thought you would have had that there.
I didn't. Henry, this movie was nominated for something.
Yeah, awesome. What was this nominated for?
The new award show that we're going to be covering going forward, the Saturn Awards.
Oh, yeah, as per Space Cadet Juan's 14-page email, which I haven't responded to yet. He says that I thought we had recorded a Saturn theme.
And we didn't, so maybe you should come up with one now.
But I was kidding. Space
Oh,
Cadet
I
Juan.
wasn't. I wasn't sure.
Oh, I know the themes I have. Yes.
Okay.
No, I did not come up with one.
I think
And
it's
I still
time
haven't.
to.
Jesus Christ, the pressure you guys put me under. You guys, meaning you and, the planet. Okay, here we go.
Can you face your microphone?
Like this. See, you like this, right? Oh, wait, that's my thumb over the camera. That's exciting.
That
All right.
sounds good, Henry.
Okay, you know what? I'm just going to do that. I'm going to have to move some stuff. Everybody likes this kind of stuff. Everybody likes this stuff.
I think everybody likes me trying to help you sound better.
Oh my God, you know what I just did by accident?
What?
I split the screen in a nice way so I could see myself better. That's great.
Why do you need to see yourself better?
I don't want to look at you the whole time. It helps. This makes it fresher for me.
That is crazy. That is
Now
you're a narcissist.
a narcissist.
A narcissist.
Now it's exactly split down the middle. It's kind of cool, actually. It was an accident. I don't know what I did. All right, here we go. Saturn theme.
Oh God.
Saturn theme.
Presenting the Saturn Award.
I hate it, but that usually means I'm eventually gonna love it. So.
You'll love it next week.
Yeah. All right. Hey man, they threw this into the fantasy film categories.
That makes sense. The sexual fantasy film.
It was nominated for best fantasy film, and it lost to Something Wicked This Way Comes.
I wish I knew what that was.
That's like a famous movie. I've never seen it, but
Really?
yeah.
Does my mic sound better now?
I mean when you talk into it, but you need to talk into the center of it.
So,
Something Wicked This Way Comes, Henry, is a small American town, a diabolical circus, and its demonic proprietor prey on the townsfolk. It's based on a Ray Bradbury novel. It's got Jason Robards, Jonathan Pryce, Diane Ladd, all the favorites.
never heard of it in my life.
Well, there you go. One best fantasy film. And I'll tell you what, Maude Adams, who played Octopussy in this movie, was nominated for Best Supporting Actress.
Wow.
Wow. And she lost to Candy Clark for the film Blue Thunder.
That film I know. That's Malcolm McDowell in a very poor helicopter cop movie.
Wait, that's not Roy Scheider?
Yes.
No,
I think Malcolm McDowell's in it too, if I'm not mistaken.
Warren Oates, Malcolm McDowell. Good call.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
You know, he
Who's
was like,
Candy Clark?
I know that name.
She's in Zodiac. She's in
Really?
a lot of shit, this Candy Clark. Maybe I should be paying her more mind.
Candy Clark.
All right, Henry.
Candy.
Great. She's in American Graffiti.
Oh, that's a big one.
Great movie. Henry,
Yeah.
let's talk about it. This film starts with a great sequence of James Bond wearing a fake mustache. And
Yes.
he's
He's playing Cuban.
He's infiltrating some sort of evil facility.
Yeah, he's a Cuban. That's believable. Roger Moore is a Cuban.
Well, he smokes cigars.
Red-haired Cuban.
Yeah. And my favorite part of the sequence was he sidles up behind this one dude at like a control desk, and he just gives him a karate chop to his back. Like one karate chop to the center of his back and just knocks him out. He's down for the count.
Well, one of the best Roger Moore moves that, you know, I have to say, it's just inevitable that this keeps happening to me. I mean, I don't know if you're thinking this. Maybe you're able to
Austin
divorce
Powers.
yourself. No, I'm so past that now.
I still think about it all the time.
Yeah, no, I know. Judo chop. Right.
Yeah.
No, I keep thinking of just what James Bond then became, like being like this fucking Jason Bourne of a fighter.
I know.
And it's just like, what world are we living in where this little tiny hand that holds martinis and Bloody Marys in the morning,
This
and just,
manicured hand.
yeah, it just like does these
Just
things. I mean, that's, come
reeking.
on.
I mean, especially two fingers in particular.
Roger Moore just reeks of Bloody Marys, martinis, and vagina. Do you think he smokes? You never see Bond smoke. Sean Connery smokes in the Sean Connery ones, I think.
Well, I don't know. Maybe at this point we didn't want our hero to be smoking anymore in
Nobody
movies.
gave a fuck in 1983.
I know,
about
you're
that.
right.
By the way, a little biographical note. You'll get a kick out of this. I had an insane memory about this movie. Guess the first time how I saw this the first time.
Tell me.
I saw it. I must have been 5. 'Cause it was
5. A film called Octopussy.
I don't know what my parents. My mom was a big Bond fan, so she probably didn't care, you know. I don't know. Or she just wanted to see it.
It's just, it's insane.
It was the 80s, man. Nobody cared.
I just don't see how you could call a movie Octopussy.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you don't see how you could take your kid to see it. Because I can't see that either. But is that what you're going to say?
No. Well, yes, but also just like, how did this happen? Like, how do we reach the point where, I mean, it must have been this year and this year alone. Like, it must not have been okay before and not okay after. Only in 1983 was it okay to title a movie Octopussy. Because otherwise, I mean, it just descended into chaos. Just one of the guys would have been called, like, Where's Her Tits?
I think they were going to call Sophie's Choice Octopussy, but they couldn't do it, so it didn't work that way.
I thought they were going to call The Little Mermaid Octopussy.
I thought they were going to call Silkwood.
Silkwood.
Lesbians, I don't know. That's what,
Okay.
I can't even say what happened. I saw it in a drive-through. Jesus, I fucked it up. Drive-in.
Nice.
5 years old. I have a distinct memory of sitting in a car watching Octopussy.
Do you have chicken nuggets?
I don't know. I was 5. What if 5 year? Probably. Yeah.
I
remember
guess.
the clowns scaring the piss out of me.
Understandable. Jesus.
Big time. And it's violent, too. Like the clown's death. And I remember being very terrified about that. You
Why
know?
are there so many clowns in Jane? I feel like we're constantly in the circus in these fucking movies.
We are in the circus a lot. Too much.
We just saw a clown. Remember, Jaws was a clown a couple movies ago.
You're right. He was in the Mardi Gras thing.
We're
wearing
kind of the Bond people have some sort of fetish dressing up their characters as clowns.
the Broccoli's produced the first version of It.
Batman. They produced Batman, dude.
Batman.
Okay. Then we get the worst Bond song yet. This piece of shit.
Yeah.
All time high. It sounds like it's the theme song to Growing Pains.
It is. You're right. It is like a TV show. You know, it's really annoying because I watched this movie yesterday, and unfortunately for me, I had this fucking song in my head all.
I don't
day.
see how that's possible.
I wish it wasn't. It was all day, and I kept trying to. You ever happen to you where you try to sing something else in your head to
Sure.
get the other thing? I couldn't do it. I was like thinking of started to think of literally just drum beats that could beat this out of my head, and I couldn't do it. It was terrible.
You know what I've had happen? I have a song stuck in my head all day. Then I do that, and then it works, and I get something else stuck in my head. And then later that day, I'm thinking like, "Hey, what was that song that was annoying me earlier?"
Yeah.
And then it comes back.
This is bad. The sax really kills anything this song could ever even try to do.
I gotta be honest. There shouldn't ever be saxophone in music. I'll allow it in Bruce Springsteen songs.
Wait a minute. Ray Charles, you
Not-
need some saxophone. You're talking about non-jazz
I'm
songs.
talking about white people music.
This is some bad saxophone in this, man. But it's sexy as
It is, bro. It's smooth, baby.
What if how amazed would you be, or how pissed would you be if I came on this show and I said what I said about Spy Who Loved Me, and that this was the song that I wanted to play
At your
my
wedding?
Yeah. How would you be a nice friend and be like, "Oh, to each his own," or would you just be like, "You fucking moron"?
No, I'd probably just more call you a nerd for wanting to play a Bond song.
Right.
That's more objectionable than anything else. Just no matter what Bond song you choose, it would be so lame.
Right. Well, if you do want an invite to my wedding, which I know you will, you should get over that because I expect the groomsmen to dance, following my dance. So you're gonna have to dance to a Bond song too.
And you want us to come down the aisle doing a fake gun pose, back to back?
I didn't say it was a James Bond themed.
It should be.
That would be great. Oh my God, that'd be great. All my groomsmen are dressed like famous Bond henchmen. Who are you? Who do you want to be?
Well, I gotta pick Baron Samedi, of course. I will not be in blackface, though.
Oh, very poorly. Or brilliantly. Oh, they're all going to be my friends. Everybody will get it.
Let me ask you a question, Henry. You get married tomorrow. Am I your best man? I'm going to put you on the spot right here.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I most likely will not have a best man.
What?
You know this about me. I've got a very core group of boys. They're going to be, I think, it's going to be one of those things where I just have 5 of you.
So, it's like the broiest thing you've ever said. I've got a core group of boys.
I thought about that. I've thought about that. It'll probably just be I'll have the 5 people. Yeah. And you guys will just be up there. Now, first of all, I know I'm not going to be yours, so I don't expect and I wouldn't expect to be.
Well,
it's going to be Nathaniel.
No, I know that, Henry, but I expect to be yours.
He didn't even hesitate. 2 seconds, he was like, well, no, I know that. It's going to be Nathaniel. Oh, but you expect...
Yeah.
How do you think that makes me feel? How do you think that...
A little small, but what do you want me to do? I knew him before I knew you.
No. I didn't mean that. I mean, how do you think it makes me feel that you put me on the spot, making you my best man? That's not fair.
Oh, you're worried that some of our other friends that listen to the show might be offended.
No. I just don't want you. I'm more empathetic than you. Well, you know I'm an empathetic guy. I don't want to hurt your feelings.
Well, listen, I'm the one who's going to be the best man. Who is going to be the best man over me? I know Jason Anthony Harris will be in the running. Aaron Farinelli.
I honestly don't really. Nothing is in concrete on this podcast, even though it usually is. I have people in my head. All right, you can guess them. Go ahead. This is so entertaining for the listeners.
No, I guessed them already. That's 3.
Who? You?
Me, Jason, Aaron.
You know the other 2 very well.
Who?
They've both been on the show.
Really? Oh, Jan and
yeah.
And who?
And Nate.
Oh, Nate, of course. When I said Jan, it made me want to say Alex, but that's a situation that we don't want to get into. Henry,
yeah, you guys will all be happy. You'll all be so happy for me. You're not going to care.
Of course we'll be happy, but I'll be a little happier because I'll be the best man.
I like that it's already, you're just doing it. Dan's just going to be up there at the altar.
It's such an inevitability.
Yeah, and all my friends are just going to be like, I thought Henry said that we were all, and Dan's just going to be like, don't even worry. Just don't worry about it.
Because I'm your co-host. I feel like that gives me a little bit of power over the rest of your friends. I have status over them.
Oh, status. Ooh.
That's right.
Although you and me do have something in common that none of my other friends really have, and that is we're both the poorest people on earth.
I'm actually pretty flush right now.
Yeah, I know you are, motherfucker. You're more flush than me. No, I don't know that you are, but you have a good job.
Thanks, bro. Okay, let's talk about it. First, Bond sexually abuses Moneypenny's assistant, Miss Smallbone. She's great. Bond will later...
When I heard that name, I lost my shit. Smallbone.
I know.
What are we doing now?
He later will sexually abuse worse, Q's assistant.
Oh, how does he... I don't recall that.
You don't recall that? Well, see, what happens is they're testing out a new video camera, and Bond trains the video camera on her boobs, a nice close-up, and then he does one of those zoom-ins, like, woo, look at these things.
Unbelievable.
And then when they leave the scene, they just leave the camera on her boobs.
And as per male optics of females 1983, she's digging every second.
Oh, yeah. She's like, yo, what a rascal.
She's just in the female panopticon of male gaze.
Oh, James.
Oh, silly James. Leave him on there.
I'm so amused by this fake tanned 70-year-old. Okay.
What's the plot here? Because this one is actually a little easier to describe than the prior one.
Oh, God. But there's the problem with this movie, because the stuff with Octopussy and, like, the island of women is so goofy that it's kind of fun.
Yeah, it is.
But then there's all this shit with the Russian military that is like watching paint dry.
Yeah. Well, essentially you have a rogue Russian general played by the great Steven Burkhoff, Victor Maitland from Beverly Hills Cop on the podcast franchise coverage. Do you recognize him?
No, didn't realize.
The villain in Beverly Hills Cop.
Okay. I don't remember Beverly Hills Cop having a particularly memorable villain.
Oh, he's great.
Did I like him at the time?
I believe you did.
Okay, I'd have to look up a picture.
Oh, yeah, he's great. And a regular Kubrick guy he is, too. Clockwork Orange, Barry Lyndon, yada, yada, yada. But anyway, he wants to increase the arms race, not decrease it. And we get a very, very long demonstration on a very, very technologically advanced blackboard about how many missiles each side has. So basically, it's a Fabergé egg that he sticks.
I couldn't believe when, after all this nuclear weapon stuff, when the movie turned out to be about Fabergé eggs.
Yeah.
That blew me away.
Really weird. Like, so Louis Jourdain, the famous French, I guess, actor, I would assume. You've seen him and stuff, right? I actually thought you'd know him more than I do.
I don't know. I'm not looking
you
people
know
up anymore.
No. I didn't mean that. I just meant you know who he is.
Sure.
Yeah, but so he basically just wants the money and the real Fabergé egg, which he'll split essentially, I think, with Octopussy. And in exchange, he's like smuggling out a bomb. He sells a bomb to this Russian rogue to explode, thereby setting off the countries against each other. It's
one of these plots that seems overly complicated, and then when you sit down to think about it, it's actually stupidly simple.
Yeah, it is very simple, right? Because like Steven Berkoff, actually his plan is to not set the country.
It's just a bomb.
Chaos. He wants to create chaos. He wants to seem like an accidental Russian explosion, so therefore the Russians and the Europe will go again. It's fucking.
He wants to explode stuff.
Yeah, he wants to explode stuff in a circus tent.
Of course.
Which is the best part. Having said that.
What's that joke?
It's from Curb.
Oh, it's from Curb. Okay, go ahead.
Failed episode. You're a really shitty person. Having said that. But no, I liked certain things in this movie I thought were very well shot. I thought John Glenn, all of a sudden, like, it was like 2 years later, he kind of got a handle on how to shoot things. The plot is terrible.
It's still badly paced, though. Like, the action sequences flowed better, and, like, the movie as a whole moved better, but it's still, like, there are these long... Anytime Bond is not on screen, and I'm not a huge Roger Moore fan, but he's still, like, our hero. Like, right. It sucks. Yeah, it's boring.
You do need him on there. It's a little bit like Perry Mason in that way.
Not watching that shit.
But yeah, no. And, Maud Adams, who I thought you'd be happy to see, because I know you were a big fan back.
I was happy to see her, but I also just think it's so weird to bring back an actor so soon in a different role.
It is weird.
Also, I kind of think she's miscast. Like, I like Maud Adams, and I think Octopussy, despite the name, isn't even such a bad idea as like a sort of a female cult leader. It's kind of interesting. But I think as a cult leader, like to play a cult leader, you have to be insanely charismatic. And I like Maud Adams, but I don't think she's there.
I agree, but I think the problem, and this was glaring to me for the first time, because I've seen this movie several times throughout my life, and this was the first time that I ever thought this, was that there's not 1 second in the movie where I doubted she was a good guy. Not one.
And that's a problem, too. She should be skirting the line.
You're supposed to think, as a viewer, clearly you're supposed to think you don't know which side she's on, but you know instantly. And I think a lot of that is just kind of, she's just not an actress that conveys this sort of danger. Or actually, her underling, Magda, might have been better.
No, she doesn't have charisma either. She has more edge, sure. But the charisma's lacking. I don't know. You need someone for this role that, like, you connect with. Like, you know what? I'm so sorry, Broccolis. Maybe you have to spend some money on a known actress for this.
Yeah, it's true. And actually, I read that we haven't gotten to it yet. We'll get to it next week. Barbara Carrera, who is the villainess in Never Say Never Again, chose that over this.
Yeah, but I mean, like, a real actress.
No, I know what you mean, but when we get to Barbara Carrera, she would have been very cool in this role.
Why aren't there actors in these movies? It's just Roger Moore and a bunch of fucking random British people.
budget goes to the stunts and the sets, I guess, at Pinewood, and a travel budget. I don't know where they. I mean, maybe they don't pay a lot.
But that's not the case by the time of the Pierce Brosnan movies. Like, those movies were stacked with cast.
Because they're flush with dough at that point too, and I think also you're becoming into
How are they flush? They haven't made a Bond movie in 8 years.
But I mean, they've got a lot of money was put behind GoldenEye and all that shit. And I also think that we're in the age of in the 90s, you couldn't really do that shit anymore. You couldn't make a movie and not put people who were recognizable in it anymore. It just didn't happen. And, that never did happen again. I mean, I think in this age, in the 80s, they were still felt safe putting in people who, and remember, these are not, Louis Jourdan was very famous in 1983. They're known people.
They're not known people, Henry. If you go and look at those fucking airport movies, those are all-star casts with known people.
Right. Okay. Fair point. But I just mean they're not all of them are completely obscure. But I just think they just had different ideas about that. I think they put, and I think you said this a few episodes ago, they put everything in these Roger Moore Bonds on Roger Moore. They thought he was enough of the draw.
Those Harry Potter movies in the 2000s cast nothing but amazing, talented, charismatic, 75-year-old British actors. You can't tell me Bond couldn't have gotten them 30 years earlier?
No. I don't know what the answer to that is. It's very interesting.
I hate this franchise.
You could have gotten Ian McKellen. You mean why not get ask Ian McKellen if he wants to be a Bond villain?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, you know who will do any movie ever and has not been in one of these? Michael Caine.
He would have been a great Bond villain. What we could have called him. What would his name be? I need a name.
I don't know.
Give me a Bond villain name.
No, I don't have a Bond name for you.
Dr. Big Bone.
Dr. Big Bone. Well, see, what you did there was you looked at your notes, you saw the name Miss Smallbone, and you changed small to big and Miss to doctor.
I don't know why you have to take my improvisational ideas and turn them into something that they're not.
I don't like to yes and. I like to explain.
That's Michael Caine. My impression of him breaking into tears. Would you like to hear it again?
Yeah, Go ahead.
Good. All right. I don't know why you have to take my emotional improvisational response and turn it into something it's not.
That's great, man.
Thanks. Thank you very much. I know a compliment.
That's him on the set of Blame It on Rio.
His most emotional role.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go. Come on.
Oh, okay. He goes to India. Okay. There he hears a snake charmer play the James Bond theme song on a flute.
I think at one point in my life I thought that was great.
Of course, I'm sure we all did.
God, did we? I hope so. Viewers, listeners, please tell me at one point you thought that was a great moment in Octopussy.
Okay, but that does introduce us to Bond's sidekick in this movie, who's this Indian fella named VJ, and I loved this character.
My MVP.
Mine by far.
Get out, really?
Yeah.
He's great.
I loved him, and they kill him off screen. I was furious.
I know, but he has a good death. I mean, that's a good death. It's not off screen, really. You just don't see the fucking chainsaw cut his chest in half. But I mean, no.
Oh, that's right. You're right. He's got that. He gets killed with the fun villain weapon.
That's a great weapon, by the way. But yeah, he is great. He's got this energy, and he's not like some boring usual CIA contact who you just want to get rid of and get off the screen. He's fun, and he seems excited to be part of the mission.
He's sort of funny, and he's kind of a wise guy. He's got sort of it's 1983 now, and he's got a sense of humor that was probably influenced by SNL or something.
And he's a little ahead of his time too, because I like actually, besides the goat head soup, we didn't go all Temple of Doom in just mocking Indian culture. We could have I was expecting oh God, are we gonna have a whole bunch of Indian jokes and shit, and they didn't really do that, and they made this character just kind of cool. He's just kind of like, he kind of smiles at Roger Moore's jokes but doesn't really laugh at them. He kind of smirks.
Yeah, he's got good chemistry with Roger Moore.
He does.
I don't know. He's good. You know who he reminded me of, just looks wise, is Jay Chandrasekhar from the Broken Lizard group. You ever see like Super Troopers or any of those?
No.
Beer Fest or
No.
what's the other one? Club Dread.
No.
Yeah, that just passed you right by. That was a moment in time for comedy that you just missed.
Oh, I remember the moment. I just didn't see
Ignored it entirely.
I also passed by the Harold and Kumar stuff. I just wasn't interested. Not my thing.
Did you think about that because it has an Indian character in it?
I did. Yeah.
I like those Harold and Kumar. Actually, I like the first Harold and Kumar movie. I didn't really like the sequels.
The White Castle one?
It certainly is, Henry.
Oh, see, look at that. All right.
Okay. I will take issue with your not mocking Indian culture.
I said besides the food.
No, there's other stuff.
Oh, all right. No, enlighten
All
me.
right,
I
first of
might have
all,
just
yeah,
forgotten.
that sheep's head fucking dish was disgusting, and there's way too much animal abuse in these movies.
Of course, dude, but that's not an Indian thing.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay, how about this? At one point, they're fighting in the streets of India, and Bond body slams a guy onto a bed of nails. At which point an Indian guy goes, "Get off my bed!"
Get off my bed?
Oh, don't do the voice.
Yeah, you can do the voice because it's called an accent. Yeah, you can do an accent.
Have you seen Hari Kondabolu's documentary, The Trouble with Apu?
No, but please culture shame me right now.
No, I just think that's a documentary that you might want to watch.
I should see it. I should see it because I'm culturally insensitive. Shut the fuck up. Get your diaper and your fucking wipies on.
Uh-huh. Oh, you definitely sound like you sound better than me now, coming out all angry about it. That's good.
I'm not angry, but I can't even do accents anymore.
No, you can.
Wait, I can?
No, you can't, Henry. And you know what? It's not that great a loss.
I'll live.
I hope you will. I hope you'll be okay. I hope you won't spend the rest of your life just seething. I can't do accents anymore. I can't even do that.
The next time I do an Italian accent, I hope you say the same thing to me about a pizza and a formaggio.
Yeah, that's not great either.
Are you defending my people against me?
I don't know. It's just like maybe let's enough cultural stereotypes for one lifetime.
The accent that's in the movie because it's offensive.
Jesus.
Okay, so this is Henry, this is the virtue signaling portion of the podcast. It's a regular segment, and I need to participate.
When I do it to you too, then.
Okay, so the bed of nails thing. Then Bond turns around, and who's there? A sword swallower. So he takes the sword out of that guy's gullet.
You are right. Oh, I didn't even. That's all in like one sequence. You're right. They have everything you could get. We got a dancing snake, a sword swallower, a guy in a bed of nails. Oh, there's got to be more. We got elephants that
we got the sheep's head.
Sheep's head. Oh, we have the henchman with the Sikh's turban, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's just silent and does not talk ever.
And then pretty soon after that, Bond swings on a vine and goes, "Oh!"
That is a moment where I didn't want to think that it was Roger Moore's James Bond doing it, and it was like the car corkscrew, like it was an added effect.
Yeah.
But I don't think it is. I think it's Roger Moore's James Bond.
I do think it's ADR, but I think they had Roger Moore do it.
That's what I mean. That is James Bond giving a Tarzan yell.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, oh man, like, You know, when people say the campy Roger Moore and
Me
people
Tarzan, you Jane.
are you trying to say that people talk like that in India? They say they speak.
No, I was trying to do Roger Moore doing Tarzan.
Oh,
Oh, Henry. Okay. Basically, it all comes down to Octopussy. She's got the blue octopus cult.
that
And
was a cool octopus, by the way.
What?
The actual octopus.
Oh, yeah, it was cool, actually. And it sucks on that guy's face. That was pretty baller.
So stupid.
Looked like a face hugger. And then,
Rip it off.
yeah, I know. So then they, what happens here, Henry? I lost my train of thought. Okay, right. So she runs this cult on an island with only women on it. And so, of course, like, Q is all like, Bond on an island of all women. What's going to happen? And,
See 007 till dawn.
yeah. Meanwhile, fucking Q even gets laid in this one. But,
Oh, big time by like 30 women.
yeah. So yeah, he's in it in the climax, and then the climax, yeah,
A little real climax there.
and then he goes like the girls are all touching on him because he would like helped out in the fight, and
Save their life.
and then he goes, no, we don't have time for that, and then there's a pause, and he goes, later perhaps, and I'm like, yeah, you get yours, bro. So he sneaks onto Pussy Island and in a robot alligator, which was great.
Oh God, that's bad too.
Yeah, he climbed out of that robot alligator.
Uh-huh.
All of Octopussy's servants are dressed like the Incredibles. And
I had forgotten about that. That was so weird. Like what?
crazy.
Who decided that? They were perfectly fine when they were like just wearing the sort of local Indian garb, you know. And for the first time, we actually got, well, not the first time, I guess, but several ethnic women. That was nice, right?
It's not the
In the
first time. There
No,
were,
but multiple, like in one shot.
but are they of the same race? See, I think what they like to do is get one of each in all of these sequences where there are many women.
I feel like I saw multiple Indian women, but I don't know. We got a Cuban Bond girl at the beginning who he does not sleep with, which I found amazing.
Oh yeah, we did skip a fuck though. Remember, he fucked that girl and saw her octopus tattoo.
He screws Magda
Oh right.
before he screws Octopussy, and I was actually wondering what a little side plot would have been if Octopussy finds out that Magda, they're like supposed to be besties, those two, and they're kind of.
Yeah, except
know.
because it's a James Bond movie, all that would happen is they'd find out and be amused and then fuck them together. 'Cause that's how women think in these movies. All right, so we meet. Go ahead.
Yo, bro, what do you mean that's how they think in movies, dude?
Oh, nice. That's your new
how
bro
they-
character.
It's like in real life, man. Bruh.
As if they'd think.
It's like some guy getting mad about doing an Indian voice. Am I right?
Yeah. And now back to the Joe Rogan show. Okay.
I had somebody today tell me they trust Joe Rogan on politics more than me.
I've heard people say that too. Henry, not about you, but just like, you know who I really listen to? Joe Rogan.
I hear that all the time down here. I'm surprised you hear that in New York.
It was mainly when I was working at the MTA with all of those mongoloids. I don't know. There's a bunch of chases in a row after this. He does the sideways car trick that he did already in Diamonds Are Forever. Do you remember that?
I remember it.
Where he's driving on two wheels?
Oh, yeah. He chases a train, too, in this.
That was kind of baller, but then he snuck onto the train dressed as a gorilla.
Boy, you really did note down, like, literally the 3 or 4 worst moments.
I
in the
just wrote
movie.
down all the dumb shit. That's the amusing stuff.
Pages. Yeah. The gorilla thing I had remembered as being like a 2-second shot. It's a whole scene.
Yeah, he's wandering around wearing that gorilla suit.
He's in the gorilla suit the whole time, and then inexplicably gets out of it like nothing. Like he's just.
Something I found interesting here is he fucking kills Orlov. Well, actually, he doesn't. He like throws Orlov off the train, and then like he gets mistaken by some people, like authorities, and they shoot him.
No, he doesn't get mistaken. He's crossing the border from Eastern.
Oh, right.
Yeah, you can't do that.
And they're
shit.
like, "Fuck you, dude."
Yeah, they just kill him.
But there's like 30 minutes to go, and he's like the main guy.
No,
I was
know.
like, "Where's this going?"
Yeah, I know, because honestly, between Louis Jourdan and Orlov, I mean, neither are great villains, but I would have rather spent a little more time with the Russian. I would have rather seen a showdown with him and Bond than.
Well, we did. It just happened with 30 minutes to go.
yeah.
Then this is my favorite part of the movie, when Bond tries to hitchhike back to the base.
Yeah.
And these kids like stop for him for a second, and when he tries to run after the car, they laugh at him. I thought that was great. These kids are the MVP of this film.
I like what they allow Bond to do in this PG movie.
What do you do? I don't remember.
He did the whole arm, the fuck you with the arms.
Oh, really? Well,
yeah, you didn't catch that? Yeah.
Nah, it's just a gesture. I guess that's okay.
I couldn't see anyone giving the finger in one of these movies. Yeah.
Well, I could see someone doing like the two fingers. You know what I mean? So he sneaks into the circus dressed as a clown, and after Robot Alligator and Gorilla, at this point, am I watching Dana Carvey's The Master of Disguise? Is Roger Moore playing Pistachio Disguisey?
He is literally in 2 animal costume disguises in this movie alone. No, he's a clown.
Yes.
So he's 3.
Is that a third animal? A clown?
Well, if we're just doing disguises, it's 4 because he's playing a Cuban guy with a mustache.
Yeah, and he plays Tarzan. He cosplays as Tarzan for a second.
I'll count that. I allow it. 5.
Thanks, bro.
James Bond Disguisio.
All right, so then what's up? He saves the day and he fucks Octopussy.
Yeah, he has to stop the bomb. He stops it in time. He's wearing a clown face. He goes into a clown trailer, and he's in there for about, I'd say, a total of 9 seconds.
And comes out with immaculate clown makeup. Like he went to fucking clown college in, like, the Sorbonne.
He even has time to, like, paint on a tear.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like he's Pagliacci.
He's Pagliacci. Yeah. That was on Jeopardy a while ago. I got it right.
Nice, bro. Were your parents impressed?
I did it at work.
Oh, nice.
It was opera from Retro Jeopardy. It was 5 from 1984, and there were 5 opera questions. I got them all right.
I love when they do that because it reminds me of that part of Magnolia when you have to guess the song.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Willa Cather.
So it ends and Octopussy goes, "Oh, James." And in that moment, you're supposed to know that he's penetrating her with his cock. And then the movie ends. And what do you give it?
God.
I give it a 2. This entertained me more than Octopussy.
All right. I have a ratings
question. I mean, more than Moonraker. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I have a ratings question to ask you. I'm sure this will be controversial since we've only been doing this for 4 years. I want to give, for entertainment value, it entertained me more than For Your Eyes Only. But I genuinely think this movie is fucking ludicrous, and I want to give it a 2. But how can I justify giving For Your Eyes Only and Moonraker a 3 and this a 2? If I was truly entertained more than I was by For Your Eyes Only.
But I mean, that's something like...
You know what I mean?
You know, there's a weird thing where competence comes into play. And I just think that For Your Eyes Only is a much more competently structured Bond adventure than Octopussy is. And so while I think in my heart of hearts, like, if I'm going to sit down and watch one of these again, I'm probably going to put on Octopussy.
I am too.
But I do think For Your Eyes Only is the better movie. And so I'm giving that a 3, and I'm giving Octopussy a 2. And I reserve the right, when we've covered all 25 Bond movies, to place this higher than For Your Eyes Only on the list.
Okay. All right. I'm going to have to go with 2. That kind of breaks my heart.
It breaks Henry's heart.
To give Octopus... Because it's entertaining and fun.
Yeah.
But there's so much stupid shit in it. I mean, I don't know. Like View to a Kill we're going to cover next week. I'm looking forward to watching it. I haven't seen it nearly as many times. But I have no place at all nostalgia for it. So for some reason, I don't know why, when I was a kid, it wasn't like something I saw a lot. So I'm not going to care really what I give that. But like Octopussy, I guess I saw it in the fucking drive-in. So it's one of the first things I ever saw. Bond.
You got some affection for it.
A little bit, but you're right. I mean, it's 2. It's a 2-star. So
our MVPs are VJ.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah.
who's your LVP?
This was hard for me. I actually, you might like one was kind of just Louis Jourdan, but he's really not that bad. So I'm gonna do kind of a Dan thing here. You've done shit like this. You know how you were like joking just now? You weren't going to, but the MVP to the car full of kids.
Yeah.
I want to give my LVP
1877 car full of kids. All right, go ahead. I'm so sorry. I had to get that joke out.
That was great stuff. That was my old school Dan impression from when we first met.
Know.
He was never a fan of that impression.
That's okay.
I'm gonna give it to everything that took place in the circus tent. I wrote down under here on my notes. I wrote circus junk.
Circus. You just make your LVP the circus.
The circus.
That could be the LVP of Earth. I mean, who thought of that? The circus sucks.
Mr. P.T. Bonham and Bailey. Oh, by the way, real quick shout out. I like the knife throwing brothers. I thought they were kind of fun.
Oh, yeah, they were all right.
Yeah, that was like a neat idea.
It was cute for like a minute.
They're in it for 2 hours. They die after the Russian general.
Oh, right, because it's one of those things where it's like the end of the movie and he's got to kill one more guy or whatever.
That's right. That's right, because he kills his brother. Actually, that was a cool moment because he kills the second guy, and he's about to be killed by him at the doorway, and he throws the knife, and he's like, "This is for my brother." And then he misses, and Bond kills him with the knife, and Bond goes, "And that was for 009."
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Oh, yeah, we didn't even bring that up. They kill off one of the double O's at the beginning of this to try and give the movie some stakes, but then they never mention it again for the next 2 hours, and so didn't do such a great job.
I wonder if Tim and 009 were pals, though.
I bet they, like, one time double-teamed a girl.
Yeah, I knew you were going to fucking say that. All right, I do have a shag count.
James, Paul, shall we do a shag count?
The definitive Roger Moore impersonation.
I love it. I really do.
It's 2. Another 2 count. He's lowering he doesn't really have it in him these days. He's getting old.
So who does he bone? Magda.
Magda.
And that's it.
The Cuban girl you never see him with. There's some implications.
He probably consummates that shit.
Sure, he even said, "I'll see you back in Miami." You know, I'm sure that. But we need to see on-screen proof.
She was a very natural-looking person. Not usual that you see that in these movies.
No, you're right. She was not like they did not cosmetologize her. That's not a word.
I knew what you meant.
Yeah. All right, so a 3 and a 2. Now, I didn't remember because I'm old. Did we rank the Connery movies when we finished them?
Yeah, I feel like we did.
Yeah.
Because I think I put Dr. No at number 1, and I remember surprising myself by doing that.
Okay, so I guess next week we will be ranking the Roger Moore movies. And God, I hope we don't have to re-rank the Connerys with Never Say Never Again, because I don't know what my rankings were.